Hi, teachers everywhere. My name's David Doibelbeiss, and I'm the chief buzzer, king of content, and the guy that founded ELT Buzz and ELT Buzz Teaching Resources. I have a long history working with video and supporting the use of video in classroom teaching, especially for English language teaching. And in this presentation, I just like to run down some tips, advice, provide you with inspiration, and a few resources all about using video in the classroom. I won't be using any links, but this presentation has a lot of exterior links. I'll post up the presentation and you can go through it at your leisure and look at all the videos that are used as examples. So let's get started. Where is it written classrooms have four walls? What I mean by this is that video allows us to get outside the classroom, to break through that kind of isolated structure that we've put ourselves into in traditional classrooms and pipe in all sorts of places, people, ideas, events from around the world. It's very powerful, and that's why all teachers should be using video daily in their lessons. Chris Anderson, founder of TED, and he did a lot of other things, has really been one to champion this thought that, what Gutenberg did for writing, well, video does for face-to-face communications. We're really seeing it in our face, so to speak, no pun intended, with the concept of Zoom and synchronous teaching online. So video is really becoming part of our everyday teaching environment and experience. So we have the video revolution, just like we had the Gutenberg revolution. Why use video? A lot of reasons. Here I'll just run down quickly. As you can imagine, there are so many. Primarily the affordances, what you can do with it. You can slow speech down, you can rewind, you can repeat, you can stop and pause and ask students to predict. There's a lot of things you can do with it. It's a very malleable kind of media. Availability, nowadays it's everywhere. I don't have to bore you with statistics about all the video that's uploaded to YouTube, etc., every nanosecond. And a lot of it is free and it's authentic content. Audio, it provides great listening experiences and comprehensible input for our students. That's key to growing their language abilities. Acquisition, keyed in with that listening, very tied into it is the concept of acquisition, not just knowing stuff, but actually just having time to take in and extensively watch video allows for a lot of language acquisition by students. The asynchronous portion, very important. Students can rewatch the video that you'd shown in class and review it. It's there at the same time and place always. So it doesn't go away. Motivation. Students love video. They can be funny or whatnot, but you just put on a video, you know you got your students' attention. I don't have to say much more. Cost, well, that goes along with availability. There's free video almost everywhere. Context. It's really hard to teach, maybe, let's say, about the Maori in New Zealand through a dry textbook and a few pictures. What you really need is context. Why not bring in through video conference a real Maori person and interview them, or at least bring in a video that shows their culture in its fullness. And leading on to the next point, video really does well supporting the cultural part of language. Language is just not the words and the sounds and the phonemic recognition. It's all about culture and an understanding of the culture of which language is a part. And video teaches that implicitly. It's shareable. Videos can be viral. You can share them, experience them together, watch them together, just like we do movies. It's a great experience in that way, and it helps our students learn. And then there's this notion of paralinguistics, that the visuality of video helps teach the body language and the way we communicate in a nonverbal way. And that's just as much an important part of our job as it is teaching, the words and the collocations and the chunks and the grammar and all that stuff. So now we know a little bit of why we should use it. Let's look at a little example. Date at Nando's. Here's a text from a textbook. Read it for a moment, and what do you think's happening? Okay, you get the idea. Text just isn't really a rich, immersive language learning experience. If you put on the commercial with that same text of two people speaking, a whole different thing happens. Video is the next textbook. You don't need these lists of words and A-B dialogues. Video is the new textbook. I'll just leave it at that. But please see the difference with the video here. A few tips about using video in the classroom that I like to share, just based on my own experiences. Keep it short. Our attention spans can seem to wander. The language input can kind of overwhelm students, and whether you believe in it or not, there can be this cognitive overload in a sense, and students will turn off. So keep it around 2 to 5 minutes, but it all depends. And then do an activity, and if it's longer, go back and watch another part of it. Turn off the sound at times. Videos, and there's many great silent videos, but turning off the sound allows your students to be the language input. They can narrate the videos, talk over them, etc., and just use the visual portion of the video. Add subtitles. I remember when the Steve Jobs speech came out, you put subtitles onto that video because it's, the language is quite advanced. It really supports your students' language learning. I prefer to use same language subtitles, but you might use their own language when the students are beginners, but try to wean them off that eventually. Make it available. So post it up somewhere, like I mentioned previously. Students might want to rewatch it or share it again, but always keep it available. Many videos you can now download using things like KeepVid or other tools, and then put up on your Google Drive and share with students privately, or put it on your school LMS. Here's a fantastic way to use video, and that's get students making their own. I did this way back in, I think it was 2004-5, training teachers in Korea, and this teacher made this wonderful version of a song, and using this, and the student, actually the teacher didn't make it, and this was using WMV, the old video editor you used to get with Windows, really clunky. But the students managed just using their cameras and editing in WMV. And it's a delightful, timeless classic. Take a look at it. But get your students using video in the classroom to learn language. 2 more tips. Always preview. So you're the kind of like a custodian, and it's your role to make sure the appropriateness of the content is always right. And you could be surprised, even if your friend says, this is a great video, show it in class, make sure you watch it in full, and I mean in full. You never know what can be inserted or what scenes. You're the teacher, you know your students and the context. I tell you a story about this, but it was about a friend who showed a video from National Geographic, didn't preview it. It was about baby seals and seals. But at the end of the video, the seals were beaten to death, and it was about the problem of hunting seals, and many students were traumatized, and he was suspended for about 3 months for that. So be warned, always preview. And lastly, ask your students what videos they want to watch, what they're interested in. Always start from there, and that should be part of any good needs assessment. Um, Sorry, I just keep clicking. I'm using a PDF and things are clicking ahead here. I mentioned this one too. Think globally, play locally. Many times you might want to put on, something from England or Canada, United States. But I think that a lot of times what works best with our students, especially if they're homogenous, if you're teaching Brazilian students or in El Salvador or in Malaysia, use video that has their in English, but has the people they know speaking it. In this case, I'm using Paul McCartney, Let It Be, and here is Ricardo Carlos from Brazil, and he's singing the same song in English, but as a Brazilian. Much more fascinating for students to listen to Roberto Carlos than Paul McCartney. So think locally. Types of videos, almost any, most people think of just short YouTube videos or animations, but there's music videos, there's karaoke, there's news reports, there's movie clips, movie trailers, how-to videos, instructional, there's interviews, TV shows, there's many, many different kinds of videos. And I'm going to show you some examples that I think are some of the best examples of ways you use all these different types of videos in class. So here's some possible ways to use video in class. Students watch and then retell about the video, or a few students stay out of the room and the others watch the video and then they tell the students what had happened. Just for inspiration as a lesson hook, prediction, stop the video and ask them what will happen next. Definitely engagement and to get them thinking about the topic at hand and background, prompting their schema. Rewriting, watch the video and then rewrite what had happened. Quizzing, you can do comprehension checks, etc. Just setting the mood for the class is great. Role playing, they can see conversations and then they can try to role play them. So there's many, and I'd ask you to click on the link here. It's free, and look at my 50 ways to use video in the classroom. So let's go through some examples. I'm just going to be very short with this on each one. But afterwards, go through, click on the video, and these are some really strong, super videos that you can use in class. Words from NPR is just fantastic for advanced learners and collocations. Inspiration, this is a video of a fish and a cat. And it really will prompt your students to get to know the idea that English is really important for them to learn. I'll mention that click the links here on lesson materials to go to ELT Buzz teaching materials and get some lesson materials for each of these videos. Content knowledge. One great way to teach language, and many teachers are doing it in a structured fashion through CBI, is content knowledge. Here we have lovely Lily, and she teaches the names of the countries. Great video for beginners. Screencasts and tutorials. You can use video to really tell your students how to do something online, or how to log in, or how to use your Google Classroom setup, etc. But you can make screencasts very easily. Screencast-O-Matic is a fantastic free tool, and there's a number of other ones. Chanting. There's a lot of great chants online. This is a Nike one where the boys sing one part and the girls sing another. So it's taking that old jazz chant thing we used to use in lessons and really making it modern. and you can find a lot of them out there. Contrasting. There's a lot of great videos that are used to contrast different things like night and day, up and down, happiness, sadness, etc. Here's another video of that. Click through and watch that. Commercials, I'll just mention. They're cool for students. Lots of them you can just play and stop before the end and ask them which product's being advertised, and just let them take in the language without focusing too much on it. Extensive watching, I call that. I love this video. You can just give students one small task in the commercial. In this case, just to name all the places the Chocolate Man visits. Pronunciation, there's some really great videos highlighting all kinds of facets of pronunciation. You'll laugh your head off but this is a classic. I'm sure many of you know about it. The German submarine commercial by, I believe it was an old Berlitz commercial. TV shows and TV series, a lot of them you can get online free now. Just go to YouTube and look up and get part of the series or stream them. And students love them, and I call this narrow watching. So they get to know the particular language of the characters, and it's not overwhelming by watching all sorts of different things. It's like the concept of narrow reading. It's a great approach. If you can find a series everybody wants to watch. Don't think that video is just something for advanced learners. I know it takes a lot of time initially to really get a good toolkit and library of beginner go-to videos in your toolkit, but they're out there, and I've helped you a lot. At the end of this, there'll be a link to my top 100 YouTube videos for language learning, English language learning. So there's a start for you of finding out which are the great videos out there for beginners. Visuality, there's all sorts of great textual videos that really use language in the text form in video. This is a great song by Elvis Presley, Always on My Mind, and it's all in text, but just fantastic for language learning. Poetry, there are lots of examples of all sorts of poems being read and done in video. I particularly would ask that you look at Billy Collins. He has a bunch of visual poems out there that are just fantastic and really accessible for English language learners. How-to videos, really probably my favorite. They're very structured, so students love that structure. Maybe 4, 5, 6 steps. Watch the video, have students then repeat and retell the steps, and then watch the video again and check that they use the language correctly for each step. This particular video is just how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. But there's all kinds of how-to videos out there. Look up eHow on YouTube. Grammar. You wouldn't think that there are videos that really highlight a lot of grammar forms, but there are. If I Had $1 Million is one big one. This one, If I Ride, is another great one. And also about the topic of the environment. But you can find a lot of videos that present a grammar point. Vocabulary, a lot of videos out there that present vocabulary. Pink Panther is a famous one out there. This is the Roadrunner, and it's presenting verbs in English. I really like it for beginners. This one is about elephants. Oh, a very great must video for music video for English language learners. It's I Like Elephants. Must watch. This one's all about IKEA and places where people live. So videos are great for presenting vocabulary sets or lists or themes. Listening, it's a fantastic form for listening. And it's as simple as maybe just writing words on a board. Students listen to the video and they check off which words they heard. This is the rapping flight attendant. It's a cool video to do something like this with. Very simple lesson to plan, and a lot of fun for students and a challenge. Worksheets, you can use all kinds of worksheets and use video as a writing prompt. So videos with worksheets and with a small little task work fantastically. Try a video appreciation activity one time, and it's just basically watching a video or watching 3, 4, 5 videos, and the students comment and rate the video depending on the criteria you set. I have some prepared lesson sheets for that, but it's along the lines of music appreciation activities. Media awareness, it's really an important thing these days with the amount of media students do consume, and we need to prepare them to be media aware and know the difference between fake news and real news, to not be just naive consumers of media. So lots of videos out there that can help students gain media awareness, especially looking at commercials and how subversive they can get. Get literal, lots of great music videos on the literal fashion. Search on YouTube literal videos, and you'll have all these old videos from the music videos from the 80s that are literal. So the lyrics are just stating exactly what the person in the video is doing, and they've been changed. It's really fun for students, and they're really great as a lesson material. Get students producing videos. This is a Doodle video students produced for a project of mine, Project Peace, that I did in the past, a video project. You can see the website at projectpeace.com. And teachers from all over the world, classes from all over the world submitted videos. Each student was given one line of the song, and then they wrote the line out and made their own picture, and they put them all together and with the music made music videos. Some of them so creative, like this one, I Got a Feeling. Great for debates. Students can watch videos for their side of the debate, prepare, and then have a debate in class. Teachers can produce instructional videos now very easily. There's all sorts of things from Canva to, the names are surpassing me. I mean, I use Adobe a lot, but there's a lot of even simpler tools to quickly produce video. You can even take your PowerPoint videos and just go into save, and then you can make a video in the tools menu and produce a video right immediately of your PowerPoint content, and then do a voiceover on it if you wish. Flipped videos are great. This one is an example of a teacher just self-introducing himself before class, so students watch it, and then they get to class and they actually meet Coach Shane. A really great way to introduce yourself prior to the start of the year. Video can be used real, and during the pandemic, we're seeing that in action synchronously. But you can bring in all sorts of experts, bring in an author, or just talk to people from different parts of the world through Skype or Zoom. It's a great opportunity, and use it in your classes. There's a lot of inspirational videos out there. This is one now called 7 Billion Others. Really magnificent content for English language learners. As I mentioned before, silent videos, Mr. Bean are some of the go-to ones for that. Students just watch it and describe what Mr. Bean is doing. I really love this approach, especially for young learners. There on YouTube, there's tons of oral and shared reading books. So look up a book and somebody will read it and turn the pages, and you can just read it together as a class. Just put it up on the screen. What happens next? Fantastic. There's a lot of these pre-prepared on YouTube. You'll see a clip, it stops, and then you ask the students, what do you think will happen next? And they make a prediction, and then you watch the rest and you see if they're right. I also like the series along the same lines, What Would You Do? Students watch one of the episodes and then stop it, and then they say what they would do, and then they watch and see what the person actually does. Subtitles, as I mentioned, use them on your videos or turn them on. Most video now is CC caption. It really can help learners a lot. You'll see the power of that in Netflix, how they do it so well. This is one of my favorite subtitled videos, Harry Met Sally. It's beautifully done. Kinetic typography, usually with music videos, it's presenting the lyrics in a visual form and a textual form. Second language singers, I've really plugged this over the years, but your students will love listening to some of their favorite artists sing in English. Most always do, whatever country it is. They'll have some songs in English, and so present those songs for your students. Okay, so just to finish up, take a look at my 50 ways to use video in the classroom and the list and get inspiration that way when you can. Also, the top 100 YouTube videos for teaching English. Here's a link to that. There's a playlist on YouTube, and you can go through my top 100 picks. And please help visit and help support my endeavor, ELT Buzz Teaching Resources, the largest library of professionally curated and created content for English language teachers on the web, bar none, at the lowest price too. So I hope you'll join me on the community there and use the teachers' resources. Thank you for your time and the broadcast, and I'll post this up on YouTube, and you can rewatch it, and please share when you have a moment. This is David from ELT Buzz, over and out.